Hey, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about top 5
best soundbar for home.
Starting at number 5.
Vizio V-Series V51H6. The Vizio V-Series V51H6 is the best budget soundbar we've tested. This 5.1 setup is an even more affordable alternative to the Vizio M-Series M512AH6 with a great price-to-performance ratio. Like the M-Series, it has a dedicated subwoofer and 2 satellite speakers to improve its surround sound with formats like Dolby Digital. Right out of the box, you get a clear and accurate sound, so you hear dialogue clearly, and the deep rumble in the low bass is present without overpowering details in the mix. The sound enhancement features are similar to what you get with the M-Series, meaning you can adjust its bass and treble according to your preferences. This soundbar setup is one of the only ones in its price range to come with rear satellites from an improved surround sound. It's meant for listening to stereo and surround sound formats like Dolby Digital and shines with this type of content. Sadly, it doesn't support Dolby Atmos content, which is more and more commonly found on both streaming platforms and Blu-rays. For those who don't watch a lot of this kind of content in the first place, it's a great value, but others will want to spring for a more premium option with Atmos support.
Coming at number 4.
Sony HTA9. As we mentioned, the Sony HTA9 isn't a soundbar system at all, and its full name is the 360 Spatial Sound Mapping Dolby Atmos/DTS X Home Theater System. That's a mouthful, so let's break down why this $1,800 system is an extremely adaptive alternative to the traditional soundbar that you should consider if you can stomach the price. First, the HTA9 is kind of a new concept home theater system that consists of a set of 4 bookshelf-sized wireless speakers that each feature a mid-driver, a dome tweeter, bass duct, an up-firing driver, and dual microphones. The brains of the system is a control box you place near the TV and connect using HDMI/HDMI eARC that then communicates wirelessly with the 4 speakers. The magic happens when the speakers, using Sony's sound field optimization, measure the horizontal and vertical dimensions of the room to optimize the sound, regardless of the furniture or other objects in the room. Spatial sound mapping then creates an incredible sounding 360-degree bubble of sound that can simulate up to 12 phantom speakers that Caleb Dennison says will have you swearing that you have speakers where speakers do not exist. In fact, the phantom speakers do such a good job at simulating the center channel speaker that make the sound feel as though it's coming right out of your TV, with dialogue coming in clear and highly audible. But, an added perk for owners of some Sony TVs is that the HTA9 can use the TV's speakers as the center speaker channel. But even if you don't have a Sony TV, the sound is still, Caleb says, magic. It is a bit pricey, though, and Caleb does recommend adding a Sony subwoofer to the system, but if you want something a little different, and the flexibility of being able to place the 4 wireless speakers wherever you need or want, like, if you have a weirdly shaped or challenging room, then the Sony HTA9 home theater system might be a good option for you.
At number 3.
Apple HomePod, 2nd Gen. HomePod, the little Apple smart speaker that could, made its triumphant return to store shelves early this year after the Cupertino company discontinued the original in 2021. It's an excellent sounding speaker that has improved upon the original in a number of ways. It's packed with room sensing tech that adapt the sound to basically anywhere you put it, and it's a top-notch smart speaker with Matter support so it can work with and control all your home's connected smart devices, such as lights, thermostats, and more. So why, you might ask, is a smart speaker included on our list of the best soundbars? Because, as our intrepid editor-at-large, Caleb Dennison, discovered in his review, when you pair 2 2nd-gen HomePods together and add a new Apple TV 4K, the combination easily competes with soundbars, including the Sonos Beam. So much so that Dennison called the experience downright magical. And while there are definitely some differences between the more expensive HomePods plus Apple TV 4K setup, roughly $750, and a $500 Sonos Beam, HDMI eARC is the big one missing from the HomePod. Pairing a set of HomePods together offer not only excellent stereo sound separation when listening to movies, something that is harder to achieve with a soundbar, But spatial audio for movies and TV is amazing. Dialogue is crystal clear and perfectly centered, sound effects are spacious and enveloping. I definitely got the impression there were more speakers in the room, Dennison gushed. Even the bass surprised him for a 2-channel system, and if you want for a system that also does music just as well, or maybe you want to explore Dolby Atmos music tracks, too, a set of HomePods might be worth a look.
Number 2 of my list.
Sonos Ray. So you've wanted to get into Sonos for your TV room, but your room's a bit too small for the big sound and bigger price of its flagship Sonos Arc, on our list above, or even the middle-tier Beam, 2nd Gen. In 2022 Sonos finally addressed this need and launched the Sonos Ray, and while it's still more pricey than some of the choices on our list, this is Sonos we're talking about, and should you choose, the Ray can either add to your existing multi-room Sonos system or be the beginning of one. Similar in size and look to the Beam, the Ray comes in black and white finishes and looks sharp anywhere, and it can also be wall-mounted with a bracket you can get from Sonos. Setup is signature Sonos simple, and once it's easy to control with the excellent Sonos app, which you can use to control volume, EQing, and grouping with other Sonos speakers. There are also touch controls on the top of the soundbar, too. While the Sonos Ray isn't a Dolby Atmos soundbar like its Beam, 2nd Gen, and Arc siblings, optical connectivity to your TV allows for Dolby Digital 5.1 and DTS Digital Surround, if and you want to expand your system with, for example, a Sonos Sub Mini and a pair of Sonos Era 100s or Sonos Ones as rear surrounds. And it kind of goes without saying that it sounds good, too, with our reviewer Simon Cohen praising its ability to deliver big low-end and mids, as well as clear highs, perfect for sound effects in movies such as whizzing bullets, screeching tires, and barking dogs. Music, Cohen says, sounds equally good, and, as per all Sonos speakers, you get access to all your streaming services like Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music, and more. When.
And number 1.
Zvox AV157 TV speaker. The AV157 packs 6 levels of Zvox's AccuVoice technology for speech enhancement and an additional 6 levels of its Super Voice tech for a huge range of assistance for those who are hearing impaired or who just struggle to separate speech from other sounds. The 12 levels of AccuVoice and Super Voice determine how pronounced this effect is. At its most powerful, the AV157 can deliver speech so clear and precise, it's almost painful. But for those who suffer from hearing loss, it will be a pleasure. But better dialogue is only the beginning. The AV157 is also a surprisingly capable movie and music speaker too. Turn on the surround sound mode and it does a decent job with all kinds of immersive soundtracks. Bass performance doesn't quite measure up to full-size soundbars, but it's solid and well-balanced. Should you want to get a bit more rumble, you can add an external wired subwoofer using the analog subwoofer output. Connections are modest. You can use an optical cable or an analog cable to connect the AV157 to your TV, and there's no Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. But this keeps things simple and you won't have to give up an HDMI port just to get better sound from your TV. The included remote is also a simple but effective device, with large, easy-to-press, and clearly labeled buttons. If you're tired of relying on subtitles to understand what your favorite actors are saying, the Zvox AV157 is a perfect TV companion.
Check out this video description for latest price and more informations. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and stay tuned.